I just signed up for my first market, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I have 30 days to prepare all the pieces and try to sell them in one day. I have zero experience in handmade markets, but I just want to try and see how it feels and if it's worth the time and work it takes. This is gonna be so fun. It kind of takes me back to when I used to play The Sims 2 and run those little businesses. Except in real life, I think I'm operating more at this level. I will share at the end how it all went, if I sold anything at all or not, but I can already tell you that I really enjoyed the process. The reason I only have a month to prepare is because positions open a month before, and I wasn't sure I was gonna get a spot, so I didn't prepare anything in the meantime. Where I live, on April 23, we celebrate Sant Jordi. It's a day filled with books and roses, and the streets get really full of people. And this year, I found out that you can apply for a small vendor spot for free, and I kept thinking about it for a few days because I've never done anything like this before. I don't have a plan, I don't have a shop, I just make things because I enjoy it. But I think that's also why it felt like the right moment to try, not to do it perfectly, just to experience it. The vendor spot comes in one condition: what you sell has to be connected to Sant Jordi, so basically roses and books. I can't sell cute scrunchies or giant mushroom pillows. So I feel the first thing I should do is make a list of products I could make. I'm thinking of making crochet pieces, but since these take so much time, I want to complement them with laser craft and 3D printed pieces. They don't feel as handmade as crochet, but they will still be made by me and can be as fun and cute as a crochet piece. For my crochet pieces, I think I'm going to make things I already made in the past. This crochet bookmark was pretty simple and quick to make, although I don't know what pattern I used, so I'm going to make some tests and make a pattern myself. I can't remember how I did this. I think it was some kind of spiral crochet. So for the third test, I sat down to write a pattern that made sense, and I remember now. To make it behave like a spiral, it needs 2 double crochets in each stitch. That would still look too simple, so I added 2 chains in the air between them. This way, instead of being flat, the rose has these little peaks. I think this design is better than the one I made last year. Then I made the rose stem chaining 40 and turned it back with single crochet. Separately, I made 2 leaves and joined everything together. It took some time to figure out how I wanted this to look, but here's the final product. You can screenshot the pattern here on the video or find it on my blog. It takes me around 20 minutes to make one of these, so I could make 3 in an hour. Now I'm going to start designing some life-sized roses using wire and I-cord. I will make the first tests tomorrow because for now I have to head out to teach my weekly beginner crochet class at the workshop. Let's make some roses. I know how to make I-cord by hand, but that would take too much time and make each rose too expensive, so I'm going to use my Kaido electric I-cord machine. First I have to get the I-cord ready. I'm using the drawing to calculate the length of each color and I will sew them later together. I love to make I-cord plants, they look so beautiful and it's a great gift as these won't perish. I don't think I've seen these ones in a Sant Jordi market before. Now that I have my two colored I-cord, I'm going to mold the wire to shape a rose and dress it with the I-cord. I found it quite difficult to dress the wire without deforming it. This took me about 40 minutes, but I believe it can be done within 30 minutes if I dress the wire when flat and make the rose shape only at the end. And done! I think this might be my favorite so far. That was easier than the first one. Now I want to try with thinner yarn. I'm not sure how many roses I should make. These take quite a bit of time and I ran a poll on Instagram, but there didn't seem to be much interest. If you do markets, how many pieces do you usually prepare for a new product you haven't tested yet? Please let us know in the comments. Here are the first test pieces. We made these with our Falcon A1 from Creality. Then I thought we could make simple, lightweight 3D printed bookmarks. There are so many ideas on MakerWall and they are all for free, so I can test them out first and see what looks better. To make this we will use our Bamboo Lab combo because it allows to use more than one color. If you're interested in any of the tools I'm going to be using in this video, you will find more info and discounts in the description. Some of those links are affiliates, so if you ever decide to go for it, you would be supporting my work with no extra cost to you. Thank you so much if you do. So this is my product board. It all makes sense in my head, but at the same time, I have no idea if I'm overcomplicating it, because most people just buy natural roses that day. But I believe it's too late to reserve an order of roses. I'm going to start with the products that take more time, so crochet of course. I don't know how I'm going to organize myself. I suppose I'll set aside some afternoons a week to prepare the pieces, or maybe I will have to use the weekends too, we'll see. At some point I had to start deciding prices, and I didn't expect that to be one of the hardest parts. I want this to be accessible, but at the same time each piece took time, resources, and I will have to pay taxes for everything I win, so I went back and forth a lot. I tried to make a balance. The cost of materials must be fully covered, and it has to include the mandatory VAT. So, to make it affordable, I can only play with the price I'm going to pay myself for the time spent creating the pieces. With the laser and 3D machines, it's really easy to calculate, because I just have to calculate the cost of the material versus what I've used. For example, a wooden board like this costs 2 euros. If I used it for 4 roses, the material cost per rose will be 50 cents. For 3D printed pieces, it's even easier because the design and the machine itself tells you. Plus, for these products, you don't need to add as much manual labor because you just press a button and it practically does it itself. I think I made everything quite affordable, maybe more than I should have, we'll see. Okay, so we are 4 days away from the market, and so far I've only really had a few days to actually make things, so we decided to set aside a full day just to focus on this and make as many pieces as we can. Most of you already know my partner, Eneko. He's an engineer and he also really enjoys making things. So he's going to take care of the 3D printing while I sit down and make a few more crochet roses. Let's go! The day is getting closer and here's my stock. I have to think about how to display everything, how to pack it, how to make it feel inviting, but at the same time, minding things like the possibility of a windy and rainy day. Since I don't usually do markets, I wanted to keep the setup simple and low cost, so I just used a couple of tablecloths from home and added some height with stacks of books. For the earrings, we also printed a small stand so they are easier to see. There's a lot going on here, but I think the table I will bring is a bit bigger than this one, so hopefully everything will have more space. Now I just need to prepare the price tags, but for now I'll pack everything up and I will see you on market day. The morning of the market was very quiet, and setting up the table suddenly made it feel real. I did enjoy the setting up the table part, but then everything was ready and I was a little bit nervous because I expect to interact with a lot of people today and I'm a bit of an introvert. And then people started arriving. Some would stop for a moment, look at the pieces, sometimes smile, and then continue walking. I found it really amazing that people wanted to buy my crochet pieces and everyone was so nice too. There were moments when not many people were passing by, so I just entertained myself crocheting a few more pieces, and being outside all day was really nice for a change. But at the same time, spending the whole day tied to the table, constantly interacting with people was so exhausting. I was literally a zombie when I got home. I feel like we really don't give enough credit to artisans who sell their work at markets. My applause to them. If you're thinking about trying, here are a few things I learned today. First, location is everything. My spot was just one street away from the main area, and the difference was huge. Just 100 meters away, there were so many people you could barely walk, and I probably got only a small part of that flow coming to my corner, so making sure you have a good spot can really make all the difference. Next, having smaller, more affordable items helped a lot. Not everyone is willing to pay what a crochet piece costs, so things like bookmarks and earrings brought in extra sales and caught people's attention as they walked by. Also, some things sold really quickly, while others didn't sell at all. So having pieces I could make on the go was actually very helpful because I didn't end up with as much leftover stock. We sold a lot of the crochet bookmarks and the red 3D printed roses, so I made a few more on the spot and then Echo even went home to print some extra ones. So that's what I learned. I hope it's helpful. If you ask me if it was worth it, in terms of enjoying the process and preparing everything, yes. Money-wise, not really. At least not for a one-day market like this. Especially because I can't really sell what's left until next year. And I did feel a little sad that I didn't get to walk around with my partner and explore the bookstalls, because Sant Jordi is our version of Valentine's Day. But I did get to spend the whole day with him anyway, and I'm really grateful for that. He's the kindest and most supportive person I know, and if you met him, you'd love him too. Anyway, thank you so much for staying until the end and following along. If you'd like to support me, you can like the video, subscribe or leave a comment. It really helps a lot. Thank you so much. Adeu!